Okay, so we are going to talk a little bit about biodiversity right now, and we're going to continue thinking about our Ngorongoro crater. And the Ngorongoro conservation area is something we're going to talk about today. And it's a protected area in Tanzania. It's actually connected over here to Serengeti National Park, and there's no fences in between it. So that means wildlife can move back and forth in search of water. Prior to 1959, the Maasai people lived in the Serengeti National Park. And those people primarily ate the beef and the cattle and the beef and the milk from their cattle that roamed around in the park. Now, in 1959, the British established the Serengeti National Park, and it displaced the Maasai cattle farmers, and so they had to relocate. So they used to live here, and then they moved over here into this Ngorongoro National Conservation Area. So what you're going to do in the checkpoint is you're going to take a careful look at this graph, paying attention to the population of cattle and the population of humans in the Ngorongoro Park between during this time, after the 1959 British establishment of the Serengeti National Park. Then I want you to think about a new situation where in 2009, they passed the Ngorongoro Wildlife Conservation Act, and now they want to place new restrictions on human settlement and subsistence farming inside the Ngorongoro crater. So this will displace our Maasai farmers once again. And so they are it's the same group of people, the same population who had been relocated from Serengeti during the establishment of the Serengeti National Park in 1959. So as we think about that conservation area and the Conservation Act, we've got to weigh some things about biodiversity and some challenges that are faced by the humans that have lived in this area. And when you think about that, if the Maasai get to stay and they clear away some of the grassland diversity to grow one species of corn, how would this impact the biodiversity in the area? And does this change in biodiversity even matter? And when we talk about biodiversity, we know that biodiversity refers to the variety of species in a specific area. We reference the richness, which refers to a variety of types of species. We talk about abundance, which that helps us think about the size of the population of each of the different types of species. And in the end, it's important to think about why we even care about biodiversity. Greater diversity of species in an ecosystem often relates to greater stability. When you have increased or more numbers of different kinds of species, that more variety increases the chance that at least some of those organisms will survive if there's some sort of significant ecosystem change. So now that I've given you a little bit of background information, I want you to do the checkpoint on Schoology and within that checkpoint, you're actually going to read two articles for and against this 2009 Ngorongoro Wildlife Conservation Act. And I want you to evaluate those arguments.